The day had unfolded, as most did, in tedium disguised as structure. Good line.
Damn it.
I like all these chapters start out, and I'm kind of like, hey, this might be good. And it's like, I don't know where this is going, though.
Edward had moved through his classes like an algorithm, executing perfectly optimized code, flawless, efficient, unburdened by error or hesitation. Physics, literature, cryptography, even advanced historical analysis, each a pantomime of challenge that failed to spark the neural wildfire he so desperately craved.
Edward moved through his classes, moisturized in his lane.
Thriving.
Yeah.
Maybe this stuff is easy for him because he's 40.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not challenged by high school because he's 40 years old.
Yeah. I just want to point out that algorithms do not execute code.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn it. Go tell him that. He'll spin your head in so many riddles trying to make it work. He answered every question before it was fully formed, solved every equation before the board, disassembled every thesis into its flawed subcomponents before the instructor could draw breath to defend it. His name, Edward Nigma, was already carved at the top of every grading rubric, circled in red ink, accompanied by the hollow praise of words like gifted, exceptional, and beyond the curriculum.
Yep.
And maybe 40.
Also, it could stick every shape exactly in that Tupperware
In its
ball
hole, yeah.
thing so fast.
It really does make every amazing thing about him seem so hollow.
Yeah.
It's a wild choice.
Yeah, of course he passed his friggin' geometry test with flying colors. He's 40, for God's sake.
Praise, as if he were some well-behaved terrier performing tricks for treats.
God, I wish he were.
He didn't
Would like him a lot better if he was.
He didn't smile at the compliments. Why should he? The admiration of lesser minds was neither nourishment nor validation, it was noise. Predictable, expected, and most damning of all, meaningless. Worse than the professors were the students. They looked at him as though he were a sore spot on the edge of their vision, an anomaly they couldn't scrub out. A boy too pale, too poised, too precise, too untouched by their juvenile dramas and insipid cliques. A sore son, they'd call him in their hushed whispers.
Really?
A sore son.
That's an odd thing for them to say.
It is really odd. That's a strange thing for, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in truth, it wasn't that he didn't fit. It was that he didn't belong.
Oh.
He had a mortgage and two ex-wives, God damn it.
Why did he care that Sheila hooked up with Dave under the bleachers? He needed his alimony payments, and he needed them now.
Yes. He was not part of their flock. Not a black sheep among black sheep. No Edward saw the truth clearly. The students of Nevermore were outcasts, yes, but he was an outcast among outcasts. A pariah of another class entirely. A white sheep, brilliant and clean and glaringly visible, dropped into a pasture of muddy wool and dulled ambition.
So he's so not a black sheep among black sheep because he's an outcast among outcasts that he is a regular old white sheep.
Wrapped all the way around to being completely normal.
Tracy,
and boring,
you don't
He's
sound
just a
impressed. You need to be impressed by that.
I'm the prettiest sheep.
They spoke in half-thoughts. They dreamed in fragments. They studied as if memorization were intellect and regurgitation were mastery. He dissected insects more fascinating than some of the seniors here. But there was one. A
So
wrinkle.
we know
in the
that he's already dissecting seniors. Right?
Yeah. A wrinkle in the pattern, a complication in the formula, a black shadow stitched with silver thread that refused to fade into the background. Wednesday Adams. She was, quite possibly, the only mind at Nevermore capable of standing against his, and more infuriatingly, she knew it. In at least 3 of his classes, she occupied the seat closest to his left, like a warning label or a challenge placed by fate itself. Their interactions were not conversations, they were duels. Every time he spoke, she countered. Every time she posed a theory, he unraveled it just enough to question her certainty.
That has
The
made me
professors-
hope that this culminates in turbo riddle duels.
Yes.
They're both on motorcycle. So I hope this
Oh.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Riddle runners. They can run riddle runners.
I was hoping it would turn into some kind of lemmings situation where they'd follow each other off a cliff.
Yeah.
maybe it will. The professors had learned to intervene quickly, lest their classroom devolve into a battle of glances, barbed phrases, and psychological brinkmanship.
They're not professors; they're teachers because they are in high school. Just have to really. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous now. It ruined this brilliantly written fic.
Yeah. Twice now, their debates had stalled entire lectures. Once, they had corrected a professor's syllabus simultaneously, each citing a different flaw in the week's structure. That had earned them a joint detention and a begrudging note of admiration in the faculty lounge, he was sure.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Edward hadn't decided what Wednesday was to him yet. An opponent? A riddle? A fascination?
A scalpel?
Scalpel.
Beat you to it.
He preferred the term subject, as in one understudy.
Oh, is that what subject
Observation-
means? Okay, fuck off. Michael, you said this fic was brilliantly written. This fic is up its own ass. I can't stand
I have to
this.
agree with that. It's 100% facade. Like anything interesting about it is complete facade. This is so up its own ass.
Yeah.
But I personally, at least, really, I love that. I mean, I'm a huge Warhammer fiction fan, and like the point is, you just have to buy into it, you know, and then like, and I get it. Like a lot of Warhammer fiction, if you step back an inch, like it's ridiculous. But I personally really enjoy it. But it's completely undercut by the whole.
That's what makes it impossible to buy into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is why, like, it was so nice at first when we didn't know how old he was, when we just thought that then we could buy into this fantasy of him being like a brilliant teenager.
Yeah.
But he's not!
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt you, Sean.
that's okay. Let's see. Observation would continue until classification could be confirmed. But even that suggested a level of scientific detachment he found difficult to maintain around her. She wasn't like the others. She didn't chase attention. She didn't recoil from his intensity. She met it with a stillness that was almost unnerving. She reminded him painfully so of another, someone from a past life, someone who had worn shadows like armor and dared to oppose him not just physically, but intellectually. He hated the comparison, loathed the weakness it implied. But it hovered there nonetheless. Wait, you don't like Wednesday and Batman being like on this, like they're the same level?
Look,
You could
Wednesday
totally
Adams
beat him
was
up.
not the Batman. That's all I'm saying.
Wednesday Adams was not the Batman, but she had the same effect, a subtle warping of his focus, a gravitational pull he couldn't quite escape. Not attraction, not in the way teenage boys slobber over girls in uniforms. No, This was something else.
Because he was not a teenager.
Right. Fascination, a study, a force equal and opposite to his own.
Pedophilia.
And that fascinated him more than any lesson he'd had all day.
There was a gravitational pull in his pants, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I'm expecting him to riddle her sometime. You know, what's like a thumb but has no nail? What stands but has no feet? What's erect but was never built?
Oh no. It is wild though. If it worked for that one scene that he had in the dorm room where he like revealed like the disguise or whatever, this would be a whole different story. It's
It would.
mind-boggling. You want to do this one, Tristan?
Nighttime at Caliban Hall Common Room.
Oh, we
The
don't
storm-
even get the special room.
The storm outside Caliban Hall was like a restless beast clawing at the ancient stone walls. Rain lashed against the stained glass windows, and thunder cracked so close that it rattled the crooked picture frames in the lounge. Well, that's good, really. Inside, the fireplace spat weak embers while the boys of Caliban Hall cuddled close, the warm light casting flickering shadows across their faces.
The fireplace in there.
Oh, this is nice.
Oh yeah, this is like a really like chill beast.
Oh God, that sounded like the sky ripped open.
Is that like super? Is that from Mario World?
Yes.
Okay.
Ajax Petropoulos stood in front of the fire, the flashlight beneath his chin, the light distorting his speakers into something wild and theatrical. His curl bounced slightly as he leaned forward, eyes gleaming with mist.
Hey, I thought you said he was Gargum.
Yes.
Oh, he's trying to make himself look scary. Okay.
He looks like a hot teenage boy, so like
Yeah.
he has to try.
Oh, okay.
And it's all undercut severely by the hat he wears to cover his snakes. So he has to try. Tristan, you're Ajax.
Oh. Okay. Well,
It says a dude/wrestler.
Right. Because it started for half a second as Wario and then immediately veered into something else. Tonight.
He began, very slow and ominous.
You're gonna hear the tale of the skull tree and the blood banana. It's Caliban Hall tradition to tell this story on the first night of school.
First night.
First night. It's been one day.
They've already had one night. That was what the dorm room scene. That took place the first, like, one of the first
He didn't
nights.
say he's following.
Well,
Yeah, he's not following.
You know.
Yeah, he's just yeah. Sorry, my dad died, and I've been dealing with some stuff. Okay.
Didn't we talk about how he's like already at the top of every grade?
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
time is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been in detention a few times, and so on and so forth. Yeah, he's obviously just not following tradition.
Maybe it's a new school year.
Maybe. Or flashback. Could be a flashback.
Oh, it's the Chinese school year. It falls under Smith.
Sure. A ripple of excitement passed through the room. The younger boys leaned forward eagerly, and even Eugene clutched his motley cushion tighter. Audrey sat cross-legged on the rug, trying to look unimpressed, but clearly fascinated.
He was neither.
Off to the side, tucked into the farthest corner beneath a mountain raven's skull, sat Edward. Alone in the dark, half hidden between dusty bookshelves, he rested his back against the cold stone wall. His arms were crossed, long fingers tapping thoughtfully against his sleeve. His expression was neutral, if not a little bored, but his eyes remained fixed on.
You'd have to be pretty precise to sit under the mounted ravens, because they're just not that big.
Yeah.
It's true. They're, yeah, not really that great of a landmark.
They're big birds, but they're not that big.
Okay, thundercraft outside. Punctuating Ajax's next words like a conductor's cue.
There was once a brilliant boy with a fragile heart.
Ajax said, his voice falling into a whisper.
He spent his days in bed, charting all the incredible machines he planned to build someday.
You're almost a Jimmy Bermuda.
Yes, just kiss.
The flames in the hearth dimmed with a gust from the chimney, and a vivid image seemed to take shape in the minds of the listeners.
Seemed to. Did not.
Ooh, magic.
Yeah.
A pale boy, sickly and frail, lay beneath a heavy quilt in a room filled with sketches. His fingers, stained with graphite, traced the contours of machines that could defy nature's spindly legs, rotating joints, humming turbines. The windows rattled in their frames as the storm howled beyond the glass, but the boy did not flinch. He was drawing a future where his body wouldn't betray him.
Okay, so now I see. The italics indicate that we are seeing the story.
Yeah.
Except for this part, where we're also seeing Ajax continue.
Well, because he's
But
telling the story.
He's narrating
so, yeah.
it on top of what we're seeing.
Okay.
What is tilted, well, not angry. A story.
What is that noise?
Thank you. Now the doctors.
Ajax continued.
Now the doctors, they only gave him months to live. I almost thought it was moths, but
They were out of pills, so they only gave him moths.
They were bad doctors.
got him confused with leeches. So he decided to design his own heart.
A few of the boys gasped. One flinched as the fire popped. Ajax stepped closer to the group, his voice now rich with dreadful wonder.
Oh boy.
Is this it's a story of Jarvik? Is that what it is? Jarvik?
Jarvik?
Oh, Jarvik.
Jarvik artificial heart?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem that scary.
Sure, yeah.
Seems more like a patent paper he's reading.
Yeah. Okay, this does not count because he's talking about an actual surgeon, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
The surgeon cut out the old one.
He mimed slicing across his chest with a slow, deliberate motion.
And installed the new.
Another flash of lightning bathed the room in a sterile white glow. In their mind's eye, they saw it. A candlelit operating room filled with the scent of antiseptic and oil. The boy, really breathing, lay still while cold metal hands removed his failing heart. In its place, they installed a gleaming brass orb, clockwork gears ticking, tiny pistons firing to life. As the heart spun up, a sound emerged.
I don't feel like Ajax is really explaining this well enough for this mental image to really appear in all of their mind's eyes.
Yeah. Well, why are they called
that.
metal hands? Did it say it was a robotic surgeon?
Yeah.
Autodoc.
I feel like they're already writing fanfic in their head. It's better than this story.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, tick.
The operation was a success.
Ajax whispered.
But something had changed. The boy's heart
wasn't the only thing rebuilt.
They also got his penis. All right.
Oh, they
Now.
turned the Lego Maniac, I bet.
Now, even the older boys stopped pretending to be unimpressed.
Nice.
They just were.
He became cold, brilliant, obsessed. And when he arrived at Nevermore, he was hailed as the greatest mind to ever walk these halls.
This is the tale of that guy over there.
But soon,
Ajax's tone dropped to a hush.
his inventions grew dangerous. Too dangerous. Until one night,
Ooh! Thunderclap rattled the walls. Several boys jumped. Eugene squeaked in surprise and gripped Pugsley's arm.
his genius cost him his life.
Another flash of lightning revealed a smoldering lab, imagined in the minds of everyone there. A great machine exploding in sparks and fire, metal flying like shrapnel, and a silhouette vanishing into the inferno.
For a second, I thought that said flying like scalpels, and I was.
There were probably some in there, though.
They buried what was left of him at the base of the skull tree.
Ajax said, stepping back into the firelight.
So the story is not about the genesis of the skull tree? Because I thought he said at the beginning, this is the story about skull tree. This whole time I've been like, how the fuck does this kid's skull get on the tree? And that just is not a part of it at all. And I'm really upset now.
It's just one story that pertains to the skull tree.
Tale of the skull tree. It doesn't say it's the start of the skull tree.
It was a 6-season series, Stories of Skull Tree.
It really is not a story. The skull tree is just a place in it. It might as well have been a story of the operating room or whatever, right?
This story is as good as Edward Nygma's riddles. So if you don't agree, you can just, you know what?
I honestly feel like the author was like, God, I'm kind of sick of writing this pompous ass. I'm just going to put in a fairy tale.
No gravestone, just roots and silence. Buried some silence in there with him.
Yeah.
But
Remember
they
that bag
say-
of silence over there? This one? No, the other one. No one's half
I mean,
full.
they buried what was left of him. It did not include ears, so
But they say, if you kneel by the tree and put your ear to the hollow of the skull's left eye,
You'll get a woodlouse in your ear.
He paused. The room leaned forward.
you can still hear it. Tick, tick, tick.
The fire crackled once sharp and dry. That's usually how fire works.
Yeah.
Only the bravest in Caliban all dare to go out there in the storm to hear it for themselves.
Why would you go out in the storm?
yeah, I don't know.
Also, can you really hear like a soft ticking out in the storm?
Yeah.
He raised his eyebrows dramatically, sweeping his gaze across the group.
So, Will,
Not it.
And who will dare to pick up ice on the way back?
Then, from the back corner, a calm voice cut through the tension like a blade.
That's
That's close enough for me, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Drink.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure. I'm sorry.
Edward said, rising slowly.
But do you expect us to believe this nonsense was ever based in medical or mechanical plausibility?
He's going to go into a David Mitchell rant now, I bet.
Ajax blinked, thrown for a moment.
Doink, doink. What would you know about it?
Edward stepped into the firelight like a scholar stepping onto a debate stage, brushing dust from his lapel with surgical precision.
There we go.
He just, wow. He brushed a speck of dust with
Yeah.
surgical precision.
There's only so much finger as was needed for that one speck of dust.
You need like a
And dude, I gotta say, this guy steps into everything. He steps into a cab like he's stepping onto a debate stage. He steps into a grocery store like he's stepping into a debate stage.
Yeah.
like a cat walking into a room on a debate stage.
Yeah.
I know
He began crisply.
that even by fictional standards, the narrative collapses under its own anachronistic weight. You suggest this alleged child prodigy created a fully functional artificial heart at a time when surgeons could barely manage organ transplants without the patient's immune system throwing a fit. That alone should be laughable, but let's entertain the fantasy. Let's say, for the sake of the argument,
He took another step forward, warming up now.
first, artificial hearts do exist. The SynCardia model, for instance, is a pneumatically driven device powered by external pressurized air that keeps patients alive while they await a transplant. Then there's the BiVacor, which, rather than gears or cogs, uses a signal of magnetically levitated spinning disc to circulate blood. It's efficient, nearly silent, and contains no valves or clock-like mechanisms to make that utterly cliche ticking sound you referenced.
He looked around the room. Some of the boys were staring, slack-jawed. Edward continued, more animated now.
Other examples: the Carmat Asen, a French marvel uses a motorized pump and hydraulic fluid to move a membrane, replicating the natural contraction of a heart. But even these modern wonders require a connection to an external power source. And we're talking about cutting-edge research happening now, not some Victorian fairy tale. And this is
Okay,
why Ryan
authors
Johnson is an idiot.
Our author's just dipping into Wikipedia now and just
Yeah.
copying.
Yeah. He took a breath and narrowed his eyes at Ajax.
He stepped in the conversation like logging into Wikipedia. Okay. You'd also need biocompatible materials. Plastic, titanium, even animal tissue treated to avoid rejection. The surgical procedure itself involves removing the ventricles, preserving the atria, and hooking the device into the aorta and pulmonary artery with millimeter precision. General anesthesia, heart-lung bypass, days in the ICU. But no, your boy genius allegedly tossed something together with exposed gears and called it a day.
He snorted softly.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Wales. I know I have asked you before for a donation, and we appreciate what you have given in the past. Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute. Even assuming the impossible that such a device worked without blood clotting, mechanical degradation, or rejection, how exactly was it powered? Wind-up key? Magic lightning? Because anything battery-based would need to be recharged externally, which means visible ports, wires, and external driver pack, none of which fits your little ghost stories aesthetic. I am realizing now that ghosts themselves are canon, so maybe I should shut up.
The room was dead silent now. Only the wind moaned outside, as if nature itself were cowed by Edward's dissertation.
Only the
Nature
wind rolled its
was
eyes.
fucking done with this shit.
He clasped his hands neatly behind his back, eyes gleaming.
So, no, I don't believe your tale. Not because I lack imagination, but because I possess too much knowledge. Knowledge that demands internal consistency. You can have science, or you can have fantasy. But blending the two without regard for logic is not storytelling, it's intellectual laziness wrapped in gothic lighting.
But What about Rumpelstiltskin? He used the technology of the time, the spinning wheel, but he spun gold with it. So I think your point is not correct.
Rumpelstiltskin is woke nonsense, nonsense run amok.
For a long, stunned moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the distant roll of thunder and the soft hiss of rain against the windows.
He
Ajax
stepped into the bathroom like he was stepping onto a debate stage.
Ajax slowly lowered his flashlight, the ghost story theatrics draining from his face. A smirk crept into its place then, unbothered but laced with something sharper beneath.
So you think you know it all, don't you, Riddler?
Edward's body went still like a gear locking into place. The fire crackled. Then, very slowly, he turned to face Ajax head on, his green eyes gleaming like twin blades under glass.
Does that count?
Sure.
Blades under glass? Sure. Why are they blades? Why? Glass. Under what? Like, what? When do you put blades under
Blades
glass?
it's a world famous dish. Blades.
Well,
Do you even have
Like-
glasses?
like at the pawn shop, you know, sometimes they'll have really nice blades under the on display and under the glass.
That's true.
That gleam like green eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't use that name.
Edward said quietly, dangerously.
Too dangerously. Unless you understand what it means.
One who asks riddles?
God
Okay.
damn you.
The room, already hushed, became a vacuum. The,
Alien did not like that.
the tension between the two boys stretched tight enough to sneak.
Oh.
Ajax.
Come on. There.
What? Yes. Ajax raised his brows, grinning.
What? Riddler too complicated a word for me?
No.
Edward said, taking a single step forward, voice sharp and dangerous like the edge of a blade.
It's too dangerous a name for you. It's not an appellation or a punchline to toss around at campfire stories. It's a title earned in brilliance, in exile, in war.
It's also copyrighted by DC.
Riddler.
With a war hero, yeah.
I'm just gonna like go around that if somebody calls me like, hey Michael, don't use that name unless you know what it means. It's a title earned in brilliance, in exile, in war.
Okay, then, Mike.
What happened? What happened, Sergeant? It was a massacre. It was brutal. The man, he's an absolute Riddler. Don't say that unless you know what it means. I didn't choose it. It chose me. Well, I mean, my name is Edward Nigma, so it kind of, I mean...
It's true.
I guess-
It really...
So unless you're eager to feel the sharp end of a riddle you can't solve...
No. No.
I'll riddle you so hard!
No.
I'm not sure that even counts as assault.
I suggest you keep your labels to yourself.
Can we put this in a quote? Like, this
Yeah, yes,
paragraph
absolutely.
is really good.
It killed Michael.
I don't know where to start the quote at, but like we have
I'm
to
just
put
gonna
in,
do the last sentence.
Well, we have to put in
The war?
earned in brilliance and exile in war. Like that part's really good.
Okay, well,
I feel like it's got to start with Ajax raises his brows. What Riddler? Because we got to get Riddler in there. Or it's not going to make any sense.
No. Let's just start with it's too dangerous a name for you. Like that seems like
Okay.
a good, like. We'll understand it from context clues. We'll know what it is.
I will write in square brackets, the Riddler is.
There was a flicker, just a flicker of unease in Ajax's eyes. But he smirked again, deflecting.
You're only saying all this because you're scared to go to the skull tree. All that logic crap? That's just your way of hiding behind the facts.
Well, argument, nice. Edward tilted his head slightly, the way a scientist might regard a flawed experiment.
What?
Sorry,
Like
Tracy,
a
it's like
scientist.
the way a cat would tilt its head after having walked into a room.
This is Ajax.
No.
No, this
this
is Nigma.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Scared?
he echoed. Then he gave a short, humorless laugh.
Ha ha ha. See, that's where your logic fails, Ajax. Being scared would imply that I feel fear. But fear, biologically speaking, is not an emotion. It's a chemical reaction in the brain. Which is what a fucking emotion is. Specifically, an activation of the amygdala in response to perceived threat stimuli. It floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline, prepping the muscles for fight or flight.
He stepped closer, his voice flattening into something eerily serene.
Which is what makes our new movie, Run, Hide, Fight, a scientific masterpiece. But unlike you, I don't interpret that reaction as fear. I don't assign emotion to chemicals. Because emotion, your precious heart-thumping, hand-trembling, breath-hitching emotion, is an illusion. An irrelevant and illogical construct meant to explain what the body already knows instinctively.
Edward's gaze didn't blink, didn't flinch.
I do not feel fear. I do not feel shame. And I certainly do not feel in the way you understand it. Because to feel implies weakness. He's so close to saying facts don't care about your feelings, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, let's get through this.
To feel implies irrationality, illogicality. And I am not and never will be deemed illogical.
He seethes.
Don't you deem
Not
me
with
that?
emotion. he's not seething with
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah.
He's just seething
No.
with logic. Must be.
It's just so ridiculous because it's like
Seething with
it-
reason.
there's a logical fallacy, and I can't think of what it is, but it's like you're just defining a thing in a different way,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
Yeah.
it's like oh, I don't feel fear. Sure, I feel the the nerve endings in the flight or flight, and my muscles respond, and blah blah.
Yeah,
It's like that's
yeah.
what fear is. You're just
Yeah.
defining it further.
Just because I am cowering and trembling and wetting myself.
right.
I'm
difference
not
is that I-
short. By the top of my head, it's just closer to the earth.
He paused just long enough for the silence to press in again.
I'm not afraid of stories. I'm not afraid of trees. And I'm definitely not afraid of something that ticks. Like you should
bomb.
be. Like a bomb, you
Yeah.
idiot.
With
Things
that,
that tick. Bleh.
With that, Edward stepped away from the firelight, his shadow trailing behind him like a serpent.
I simply choose not to waste time on lies built by people too unimaginative to tell the truth.
Imaginative to tell the truth.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, we've got
Yeah,
Spitfire
what?
in the chat. Who,
Hey!
Hello, Spitfire.
Welcome, Spitfire. It's been lonely in
The
here.
fallacy, yeah. The fallacy of redefining things called Jordan Peterson.
Mm.
Edward paused just before reaching the door, then turned his head slightly, casting a glance back toward Ajax, measured, surgical, final.
Drink.
And more to the point,
He said, voice razor sharp and calm as still water.
Okay, does
I have nothing to prove.
Yeah, it counts. What the hell?
We're expanding this a lot because we want to drink, I guess.
And
dare
calm
we.
as and still as water, which was just as still as he was calm.
Will you read
razor
that
sharp.
the last line there again? We didn't quite get all of it.
Oh,
He
I didn't. I never said that at all.
Okay. He said, voice razor sharp and calm as still
Razor
water.
sharp. That's a drink. That's a drink.
Yeah. Count it.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
Yep. Count it. You said
it
it again. Count it.
I have nothing to prove to you.
The room was silent. Ajax's
You could have
smirk
just
had-
stayed over there if you had nothing to prove to us. You didn't need to open your mouth if you really had nothing to prove with it.
Kevin, that makes too much sense. Sit down. That's not.
You're clearly seething with logic. I need you to stop.
Ajax's smirk had begun to falter.
Even if I did accept your dare, wander out into the rain, kneel before your haunted shrubbery, press my ear to a mythological orifice, and pretend to hear the whispering tears of some dead prodigy's imaginary chest cavity, what would that accomplish?
Okay, I get dibs
wanna
on
go back.
mythological orifice as a band name.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Edward stepped fully back into the firelight, not out of drama, but precision. Like a chess piece, reclaimed for a final move.
Besides, if I go out in the rain, my arthritis will be killing me. If I kneel down, I'll have to put unguents on all of my joints in my legs. It is not a pretty picture.
He stepped into the firelight like a chess piece being surgically removed from a patient's body.
I wish I could remember the line from last week. The whole like a prayer to a god that had been forgotten or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll come up in a quote at some point, right?
Yeah, I think
someday.
so.
You'd cheer. The others would whisper. I'd be rewarded with a few glimmering seconds of prideful triumph. A badge of false bravery handed out by boys with no metrics for value other than noise. A temporary spike in social capital among a dormitory of misfit outcasts, most of whom will graduate into nothing more than footnotes in each other's lives.
Boys Noise is actually a real band and they fucking slap, so watch your mouth.
Well, not as much as mythological orifice.
Hold on,
haven't seen them
I think I've convinced myself, actually.
Yeah. He let the words settle.
And what would I gain? Nothing. Validation from people whose opinions carry no measurable weight in the long arc of existence? Applause? From those who confuse adrenaline with identity?
He shook his head once.
I need to know, does it go to each side or
Yeah,
much
I don't
as
know.
this
It's like is it half?
is that
Maybe it was
half? I think
already
that's half.
one-
I think
maybe
you
it was
gotta go both
already-
directions. Yeah.
Maybe it was already fully one direction. No. No? I don't chase illusions. Not fear, not fame, not folklore.
His gaze snapped back to Ajax, clear and unblinking.
You can run your little dare, Petropolis. You can feed your need for spectacle. But don't mistake my refusal as fear. It's not. It's calculus. And I'm peeing my pants because I want them wetter.
And with that, Edward turned utterly composed and walked out of the common room, his footfalls fading like punctuation marks at the end of an equation.
What?
You don't punctuate
punctuation
equations.
marks.
Except
All the
maybe an
best ones.
ellipsis.
Well, that's why they're fading, because somebody is quickly erasing them. They're like, oh shit, why did I put that there?
Yeah, and quickly and putting an F on the page.
Tick. Tick. Tick.
Is that supposed to be him walking off?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's only 3 steps away now.
Oh boy, he's so dumb.
10 minutes later in the dorm room.
Tick.
Hello, Sam.
Hey,
Welcome.
Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
He was alone, or so he believed, savoring a moment of quiet serenity to relax his mind.
Hey, Ed.
Edward's head snapped around with a visible wince like a cat caught in the rain. Pugsley Adams,
Like a cat on a debate stage.
Pugsley Adams stood behind him with a half-empty cup of what looked like black sludge in one hand and a book titled Diseases That Time Forgot in the other.
You again.
Edward sighed.
Yep.
Pugsley plopped onto the adjacent chair.
What you thinking about? Something grim and gruesome? That last riddle was killer, literally.
What last riddle?
I don't think it was
I don't
literal.
know.
I don't think it was literally killer.
Maybe in
No.
between this and the last chapter, he killed a dude with a riddle.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Someone met the sharp end of a riddle.
Exactly, yeah.
I was actually enjoying the absence of meaningless small talk.
Edward muttered.
But since you're determined to pollute the silence, why not try impaling yourself on a fencing saber? Or better yet, swallow a dozen thumbtacks while reciting bad poetry.
Pugsley shrugged.
Tried the thumbtacks. Didn't go down easy. They always tend to get stuck in the throat. Might give the saber a go next week.
I think "Pollute the Silence" was the original slogan for the Daily Wire, so it's been...
Edward slowly turned to look at him, jaw slightly agape.
You are not disturbed by that suggestion? Despite the elements of severe, if not fatal harm it may inflict upon yourself?
Nope.
Pugsley said.
Wednesday says pain is the body's way of showing appreciation.
Edward's mouth twitched.
What an utterly dysfunctional mantra.
I thought it was sweet.
Then Edward finally snapped.
Why? Why do you keep trying to talk to me? Why do you realize I've gone out of my way to project nothing but disdain, apathy, and psychological barbed wire in your direction that is ultimately designed to keep you out?
Pugsley leaned forward, unfazed.
I guess I'm just trying to make friends.
Edward barked a bitter laugh.
Ha! 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 Friends? With me? You could do better making friends with a landmine. At least that only explodes once.
Well, Eugene's warming up to me.
Pugsley added.
But I get it. He's not really the best buds type for me. Neither am I. I just figured everyone's afraid of me or weirded out by me. And you're kind of the same. Thought we could, be in the same boat or something.
Sam in the chat says fencing sabers aren't sharp at the point. Fake Renaissance man.
Booze, man.
It's the one thing he's gotten wrong. Damn.
And Spitfire says, can you really be slightly agape? I don't.
Kristen will show you now.
Good enough. Edward's eyes narrowed slightly.
Go on.
I don't know.
Pugsley continued, picking at the corner of his sleeve.
Like that thing you said to Ajax about not being afraid. That's when it clicked for me. You're scary, but not in a monster under the bed way. You're smart, scary, creepy, sharp, dangerous, scary. I thought, hey, that's cool. I like that.
What else is
The
like
word
sharp,
encouragement-
creepy and dangerous. Maybe like in a doctor way. I'll figure it out.
Edward stared at him a long moment.
So you would actually, like, leave a comment under the story that says something good about the story? Well, that is an astoundingly rudimentary but oddly coherent reason.
Thanks.
Pugsley smiled.
That might be the nicest thing anyone said to me this semester.
Well, it
Edward
is the
leaned
first night
back.
of school.
Edward leaned back, lacing his fingers.
And yet I insulted you.
Yeah,
Pugsley nodded.
it's like a weird hug for me, but feels nice.
Weird hug, but okay.
For the second time since he's been here, the Riddler was curious.
Say, do you have any pictures of your sister in various states of disrobement? The hell is the word?
Disroberment.
There was something about this bizarre, pudgy, reckless anomaly of a boy that defied logic, in a similar manner to that of his sister. Of course, nowhere near the mental competency she possesses, but a social outcast with no charisma, no intellect to speak of, no useful skill set. Yet he navigated the world like nothing could touch him. He had failed upward into Edward's circle by doing absolutely nothing correctly. Or perhaps by doing it wrong on purpose.
How old are you?
Edward asked.
How old are you, Edward? You first.
Yeah.
15, well, 14 and 10 months. But I don't like prime numbers. They're too smug.
Fitting.
Neither one of those are prime numbers.
Because Pugsley's
There's
not
not a single prime
Pugsley-
number.
Pugsley's not smart. That's the joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Edward doesn't even know that. He's not. He would correct that if he knew. You know he would.
I think he's warming to Pugsley here.
He would correct that for 6.5 paragraphs.
Like, he literally just said perhaps he's doing things wrong on purpose. I think he's getting Pugsley's, like,
You see, this story has hidden nuances and layers that you really have to, like, you have to really dig in with your
Yeah,
brain
it's like
and your logic.
It's like a 4D chess piece moving into the shadows.
Of a
Or
surgical
it's
theater.
I was gonna say it's more like a body that you have to carve into with a scalpel.
Yes.
Fitting.
Edward exhaled.
So tell me, Pugsley, have you ever heard of a man named Viktor Frankl?
Oh God.
Yeah, where's this going?
Yeah,
Pugsley
this seems
frowned.
bad.
Oh, yeah, Victor Frankenstein, right? Made that monster out of dead body parts?
Edward massaged his temples.
No, Frankel, with an L. But sure, let's go with your pop culture cliched abomination if it helps your amoeba-sized brain cope.
Pugsley gave a thumbs up.
Me IRL.
Edward continued, eyes glinting.
Viktor Frankl was a philosopher and neurologist, Holocaust survivor, created something called logotherapy, but more relevantly, a concept called paradoxical intention.
Sounds like a magic trick.
Pugsley said.
In a way,
Edward smiled darkly.
imagine someone terrified of public speaking. This theory would have them walk up on stage and intentionally try to stutter, shake, and embarrass themselves. In doing so, they don't. They overcome their fear by aiming to fail. The more they aim to miss, the more accurate their result.
This is actually a hiccups cure. If you try to hiccup, sometimes you can't hiccup and it cures your hiccups. Pugsley
I
tilted
bet
his
the
head.
Riddler never gets hiccups, man.
No way. He's too logical for
He's
that.
too smart.
He understands. Well, I don't get hiccups. I just have a spasm in my diaphragm.
Pugsley tilted his head.
So, like reverse psychology, but with a DHP?
Precisely.
Edward humored at his illiterate pronunciation.
I humor at you.
That was the joke. It was reversed.
Yeah.
It's an irrational method to diffuse irrational fear. The logic is twisted, but self-fulfilling. And that
He pointed a long finger.
is you.
Me?
You, Pugsley, from what I've gathered, are the living embodiment of paradoxical intention. You anticipate failure. You embrace dysfunction. You don't care if you miss. And somehow, by doing so, you succeed in achieving that which eludes you either by accident or design.
Pugsley blinked slowly, then smiled.
Me?
Edward frowned.
That should disturb you.
It kind of does,
Pugsley said.
but in a good way.
I like that Pugsley is becoming like his Gurr.
Yeah.
Aw. There was silence again. But this time it wasn't awkward. It was contemplative. Pugsley stretched, his joints cracking like knuckles from the grave.
I'm not sure Knuckles from the Grave would crack. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they would just kind of lay there.
So his joints just crumbled.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm heading to bed. Big day tomorrow. Got fencing class, and then I'm going to try rigging a bear trap under the bleachers.
Ambitious.
Edward muttered dryly.
Thanks again for the talk, Ed.
Pugsley said, standing.
Oh, and thanks for saying there's hope for me, even if it's barely.
Edward flinched.
I said barely. Let's not get sentimental.
I said barely, too.
Well, I said barely.
I said it, too.
Yeah, but I said barely.
Too late.
Pugsley replied with a grin, tugging off his boots and climbing into the opposite bed.
Night, roomie.
He pulled the covers up to his chin with a dramatic sigh, then added cheerfully,
Sleep tight, and I really hope the bed bugs bite.
Edward, already turning off the last lamp, paused mid-motion.
You mean, hopefully they don't bite. Right?
Surely.
Pugsley rolled onto his side, eyes gleaming in the moonlight with a strange, almost affectionate grin.
No, I do hope they bite. Just not in any delicate places. Wouldn't want you limping around like a poisoned puppet.
A poisoned pup?
Poisoned
That
puppet.
wouldn't affect the puppet at all.
Okay,
that
like
idiom.
like a sore son.
Yeah.
And if they do go somewhere sensitive, I'll hunt them down and eat them for breakfast tomorrow.
Whoa.
Wink, wink.
Whoa.
That is absolutely a sexual innuendo. My goodness.
I did not realize that was the actual line.
Yeah.
Edward blinked.
All I uttered was wink, wink.
You'll eat the bedbugs.
Pugsley gave a nonchalant shrug under the sheets.
Protein plus sent a message.
More like iron, but okay.
You gotta let
There was
one
a-
of them go to tell the others.
There was a beat of silence.
I take it back. I think you're right about the prime number thing. I really thought it was meant as a joke, but like if he does not understand what Pugsley's saying with
Yeah,
bedbugs, then yeah.
Edward turned slowly, made his way to bed, and muttered,
I'm surrounded by imbeciles and Homo sapiens in their most uninvolved and primal form.
Uninvolved.
Oh, I'm gonna memorize that line. I'm gonna use this.
Surrounded by imbeciles and Homo sapiens in their most uninvolved and primal form.
They're just teenagers and you're a grown man. That's what it is.
Seriously. He flopped onto the mattress with a dull thud, humming something that sounded suspiciously like the Psycho theme as he pulled the sheets up to his chin and was snoring softly moments later.
So he's humming.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
I don't think that was the theme. That was just incidental music in the shower.
Edward sat in the dim glow of the fireplace for a while longer, the fire cracking quietly, shadows lapping across the walls like curious fingers. He didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. At Pugsley's sleeping form, at the absurdity of the situation, at the subtle disturbance in his own mental matrix. A paradox. That boy, so absurdly simplistic, so naively persistent, had, through sheer force of not trying, penetrated defenses built over a lifetime. He had become an anomaly in Edward's carefully calibrated emotional architecture. Not an ally, not a threat, not quite a friend, but a variable, a factor, something new. Edward eventually rose, turned out the last lamp, and made his way to his bed with methodical precision.
Shut up. Shut up.
He didn't even step on any of his Legos that he usually chews on at night.
He
He
brushed,
made it. Go ahead.
brushed each of his teeth.
He didn't even choke on his toothbrush this time.
He made his way to his bed like he was stepping onto a debate stage.
He snuggled under the covers, like snuggling into a debate stage.
Snuggling into a chessboard.
He lay back against the stiff dorm pillow, eyes open to the darkness overhead. Friendship.
Friend.
A word he had long discarded as meaningless a con, a vulnerability, a social leash disguised as intimacy. And yet, what if, in the spirit of experimentation, he allowed it to take root under controlled conditions? What if he used it?
Like a chess piece.
If Pugsley was indeed a living paradox, perhaps he was also the perfect subject for a new kind of trial and examination of influence, manipulation, and reciprocal irrationality. A test case for paradoxical intention in practice.
I just want to point out that he is at the exact beginning of Twilight Sparkle's character arc. And it's just so much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worse, better. Oh, this guy should meet Twilight Sparkle. They'd have such an influence on each other. It'd be great. If Edward could map the emotional variables, track their influence, and reverse engineer the unpredictable path of that boy's strange success, he might find something worth keeping or destroying.
Okay. Perhaps
He thought with a faint smile.
There is use in cultivating an anomaly.
And with that, the Riddler closed his eyes not to dream, but to strategize. Scheming in silence, a new puzzle forming in the shadows of his mind. One with a missing piece. And a roommate who, unfortunately, snored like a dying foghorn.
This is starting
Dying
to
foghorn,
sound.
leghorn.
Yeah.
Boy, I said, boy, I'm dying.
This is starting to sound a little bit like the Grinch story.
Yeah.
I think they're both really well written myself.
Yeah.
occasionally I have this begrudging appreciation of this story, but God, here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're gonna find out. Like, this seems like it's pretty smart. Like sometimes, right? And it's like, okay, not bad. But we're gonna find out that just like Edward Nygma, this writer is 40 years old.
I
Yeah.
mean, his name is Comics Merger 78. Like, it's possible
Yeah.
that 78 is his birth year.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's
It's not
it's,
so,
we know
it's not, it just all falls
I
apart.
think 78 was the year he was in high school.
do we
Graduation year.
what year did this story come out?
This
It
It
is
was
had to
like
be pretty
just written.
recently. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
78.
No, it's hot off the presses.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Story is from 2017.
got it. Yeah. I don't know what the hell I was gonna say. But yeah.
We should read this thing that Michael wrote.
No, we don't have to. I'm really glad that the Holocaust came into it this time around. I was like, oh God, Viktor Frankl? Are we going to talk about man's search for meaning? How about Elie Wiesel's Night, or however you say his name? You know, like, yeah, let's get some Holocaust survival talk in here.
I want to
Yeah.
confirm that this author is old, because we're looking at what he's written about, and it's like The Sandlot, Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah, Mr. Ed, like just
That one's
ancient.
not in here,
that one's
but-
not really on there, but
Hawaii 5-0 is. Yeah.
Hawaii 5-0 is on there.
Aunt B finds that Edward Nygma just moved to town. How will she cope? When she goes to take him some apple pie, hijinks ensue. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really, it
Mr.
writes
Ed
itself.
versus Mr. Edward Nygma.
Yeah.
Wilbur, I don't trust that man. Well, neither do I, Ed, but
Michael,
he's our neighbor. What are you going to do? Yeah.
Michael, I'm begging you, make it happen.